Hello and welcome to Eurogas Let's Talk. I'm Bronagh O'Hagan, the Communications Director for Eurogas, and I'm joined today by Melissa Simpson. Melissa is the Director for Global Government Affairs at Sempra. Melissa, thank you very much. It's great to see you not in a video call.
Right, in person.
In person.
It's a beautiful morning here. Mm-hmm. Thank you for hosting me.
Thank you for joining. Let's start with explaining what's brought you to Brussels this summer.
We are part of a coalition of LNG companies that came to Brussels to help propel the goals of the US-EU task force to diversify Europe from Russian gas and increase LNG exports, while at the same time increasing our climate ambitions and continuing to have dialogues over how we can open up policy and de-bottleneck and increase our cooperation.
And this is the time to move. Now is the time to move.
Absolutely. With this crisis and with the war in Ukraine, we're hearing more and more from our colleagues in the EU about how vital it is to have secure supply and how important energy security is. We look forward to being part of the solution.
Do you want to say a bit more about this first point? This is the priority point on the statement is meeting the climate ambition at Eurogas. You're a member of Eurogas. We are determined to fully decarbonize the gas network before 2050. So where does this sit in terms of our conversation yesterday?
So it was really enlightening to have the conversation yesterday because we took away the largest point was there needs to be parity in what the methodologies and the standards are that the US is using as compared to the EU. We are going to strive to come up with a system that is unified so that there isn't question about the measurements of the life cycle in the United States and how the gas has been produced. And there isn't question from the buyer side at the EU as the intaker. So we look forward to continuing to work on that. There are many projects underway in the United States where operators are involved in different coalitions and different protocols to create a standard by which the US and the EU can agree.
And to get to managing the climate aspect, the first step is providing investor certainty.
Absolutely. The investors, customers, they want to have truth and transparency in the reporting of methane emissions, and in order to draw in investors, we not only do we have to have truth and transparency in the emissions protocols and reporting, but we have to have permitting, regulatory certainty, and political certainty. Having the backing of the two governments to increase supply of US LNG, I think, is very important.
Would you like to talk a bit about the bottlenecks that we're facing? So in terms of getting the volumes in, getting moving on the climate side, specifically, we mentioned bottlenecks.
So we did talk about bottlenecks. We identified opportunities and challenges on both sides. Permitting obviously is a lot of it. In the United States, I think permitting is moving quickly, but there's still bottlenecks. Time. It takes time to do analysis for environmental purposes, but it's also taking a bit of time to come up with, again, the protocols by which we're going to measure emissions to enable the regulators to have certainty as they issue permits.
And Europe has to keep moving. It's I think our SecGen said yesterday, climate ambition can't be sidelined. The coal to gas switch is real. It has to happen.
It absolutely has to happen.
And we've said it already. Now is the time to move.
Now is the time to move. And from the U.S. side, I think we came over here to have the conversation with the operators in the buyers in the EU, and we're looking forward to continuing that cooperation, identifying high priority projects, going back to our respective governments, trying to get things moving, talking to the financiers about how do we get the funds for these projects as quickly as possible.
That's it. And this statement is the beginning. The launch of this statement yesterday is the beginning of a long process.
I think it's a great sign to the market that this is a serious endeavor, and that the U.S. and the EU corporations intend to cooperate fully and make this happen. It's an exciting time to be in energy, but it's also a critical time to get these projects underway.
Melissa, we have a lot of work to do.
Sure do.
Let's wrap there and get on with it. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks also to our viewers for tuning into Eurogas Let's Talk. Please do watch again.